Hey guys, what is going on? Let's talk about this Giants 53-man roster. So the 53-man roster was finalized today for the Giants, well, at least for now. I mean, this roster could change before the season starts. I have a feeling it will change a little bit before the season starts. But let me say this, there weren't any like huge surprises where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this guy got cut. There was nothing really, crazy like that to me, which I guess, is a good thing. One thing that surprised me a little bit was that the Giants are rolling with two fullbacks right now, and I guess that's because Penny was taking, a lot of snaps in the running back position during preseason, so he can kind of be used as a, really big running back, and he played well during the preseason as well, so I kind of think that's why they're, going with two fullbacks for right now at least. Corey Clement was cut at the running back position, which is kind of sad because I liked watching him play, but I feel like the thing that kind of led to him being cut was the fumbles. I think that might have been an issue, and the Giants might have not felt comfortable with, the amount of fumbles he's had in the past, and he also fumbled in a preseason game after a pretty big drive. So Brightwell did make the roster, the rookie did make the roster. He didn't do anything crazy in preseason, but, he showed that he is a really great pass catcher, and with an offensive line that, isn't playing great, you gotta sometimes dump it off to the running back. So a running back that has great hands is gonna be helpful for Daniel Jones when that offensive line does not give him much time. Another surprise for a lot of people, I don't want to say I'm not surprised, but I don't want to say I'm like super surprised, and that is Sam Beale, the meme king, the guy that has unfortunately been, the butt end of a lot of jokes on Giants Twitter and I guess Giants YouTube comment sections, makes the team. So Sam Beale makes this team, and I say I'm not super surprised because he got better throughout training camp and throughout preseason games. I mean, you could tell throughout watching the preseason games that he improved. I mean, his best game was this last game versus the Patriots. He had some nice tackles, especially that one by the end zone where he just stopped that run play, was pretty good. But yeah, he's currently on the roster for now. Offensive line wise, I know a lot of people were surprised when Harrison got cut and kind of upset about that, but then the Bredesen trade happened. Let's get this bread, you know what I'm saying? The Bredesen trade happened, so people were kind of not as upset about that move. So yeah, let's get this bread. I just love saying that. I'm gonna say that like way too much now. Wide receiver wise, I think this is a position that had another move that was a little bit of shock, that gave some people a little bit of shock or made some people a little bit upset, and that was that Sills was the odd man out in this wide receiver group. The three guys who, were on the roster bubble for this wide receiver group that made the roster were Ross, Pettis, and Board. Sills didn't make it, and I think this is because, as a lot of beat reporters were saying, Sills doesn't really contribute on special teams, and we know how important special teams is to this team with Joe Judge and everything. We saw what Board could do in the return game and what he does on special teams, and he also had some nice catches throughout the preseason. Pettis, he looked like he got better as preseason went on. He was playing, I believe, when Daniel Jones was out there in the last preseason game versus the Patriots. He got a lot of snaps early, like he was playing while guys like Sterling Shepard and such were out there. Sills didn't come into that game till later. And, he really didn't make a big impact in that game. I was looking to see if he was going to make an impact, but he was really kind of quiet in that Patriots game. And I feel like it probably would have taken him, it would have taken for him to make the roster, him having, a big final week in camp and a big final preseason game, just to show that, him being just a wide receiver is good enough to make this team. Like, that he's just a solid enough wide receiver to make this team, that they don't feel like, they need him to do anything on special teams. But listen, I just think the Giants felt we need one of these extra wide receivers to be able to contribute on special teams and not just, sit on the bench. So that's why I feel like Sills got cut. Yes, I thought he was going to make it after the first two preseason games, but after that third preseason game and reading the reports that the beat reporters said, about him not contributing on special teams being a thing that could possibly keep him off this roster, I was not shocked when I saw that Sills was cut. And Ross makes this team. Ross, he hasn't played in any preseason games. He's been dealing with an injury. But this is a guy who was a former first-round pick. I didn't think the Giants were going to cut him without seeing him play. I mean, he was a former first-round pick. He is extremely fast. And I just don't think the Giants were going to cut this guy without seeing him play. And I'm really excited to watch him play, honestly. I was upset that we didn't get to see him play in the preseason, but I'm excited to see what he can do on the field because fast guys are cool, right? And then just like a feel-good story, I guess, is Raymond Johnson made this team. He was an undrafted free agent this past draft, and he gets a spot on this roster at defensive end. So I feel like that's a feel-good story. You love to see, you know, undrafted free agents make the roster after, you know, not getting selected in the draft. And yeah, I'm just happy for him. So we love an underdog story here. We just love an underdog story. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this Giants roster. Do you think there were any big surprises? I personally don't. I don't think there was anything crazy that happened with this Giants roster. No huge surprises. I feel like everything you could have possibly seen happening, even if you didn't necessarily agree with it, I feel like you kind of knew it was a possibility. And yeah, guys, that is it for this video. Make sure you drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Peace.